The history of elections in Nigeria has been marked by periods of civil rule, military intervention, and transitions between the two. It has been quite a complex and turbulent journey since gaining independence in 1960. Nigeria held its first general elections in 1959, leading to independence from British colonial rule in 1960.
Last Saturday, the country which I have the honor to represent, the Federation of Nigeria, became independent and assumed the rights and the responsibilities of a sovereign state.
These early elections marked the beginning of Nigeria's democratic experiment. However, the First Republic was marred by political tensions, which eventually culminated in a military coup in 1966. After a series of military coups, Nigeria experienced a period of military rule for most of the late 1960s and 1970s. During this time, there was no civilian elections, and the country was ruled by various military juntas. In 1979, Nigeria held elections that marked a return to civilian rule. These elections resulted in the establishment of the Second Republic.
I, Sheikh Usman Aliyu Shagari, do solemnly swear that bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. To the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Alhaji Sheikh Shagari became the president of Nigeria. The Second Republic was short-lived. In 1983, another military coup led by General Muhammadu Buhari removed the civilian government. After many years of military rule and a transitional period in the 1990s, Nigeria held general elections in 1999, marking a return to democratic civilian rule.
This moment is of great significance in the political history of our dear country, Nigeria.
Olusegun Obasanjo was elected as the president, and this era is often referred to as the Fourth Republic. Nigeria has continued to hold general elections with varying degrees of credibility and challenges. However, these elections have played a crucial role in the consolidation of democracy in the country. While Nigeria has made progress in improving its electoral processes and democratic institutions, challenges such as voter education, electoral violence, and political corruption continue to be areas of concern that require ongoing attention and reform efforts.
The Church has put measures and structures in place to ensure free, fair, and credible elections.
The journey of the Electoral Act in Nigeria has been closely intertwined with the involvement and advocacy of civil society organizations. CSOs in Nigeria have played a significant role in advocating for electoral reforms, monitoring the conduct of elections, and engaging with lawmakers to influence the content of the Electoral Act. Prior to the passage of the 2006 Electoral Act, CSOs in Nigeria had been advocating for comprehensive electoral reforms to address various issues in the electoral system, including electoral violence, voter disenfranchisement, and vote rigging. They were actively engaged in the legislative process that led to the passage of the 2006 Electoral Act. CSOs provided input and recommendations to lawmakers to ensure that the Act reflected the aspirations of civil society for a more transparent and credible electoral process. Following the passage of the 2006 Act, CSOs continued to engage with lawmakers and the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to push for amendments and revisions that would address emerging challenges. On the 20th of August 2010, President Goodluck Jonathan signed the Electoral Act 2010 into law. Further amendments were made to the Act in 2011 and 2015. Despite these amendments, elections in Nigeria were still faced with challenges and controversies, and CSOs remained actively engaged in monitoring the implementation of electoral reforms and continued to advocate fairness, transparency, and accountability in Nigeria's electoral processes. During the 2018 and 2020 amendment efforts of the National Assembly, CSOs presented comprehensive reports and evidence to the legislature, their mission to secure the passage and assent of an amendment bill that would reshape Nigeria's electoral landscape. The collective efforts of CSOs were not in vain. The bill to repeal and reenact the Electoral Act 2010 as amended received presidential assent in February 2022, marking a significant milestone in the fight for free, fair and credible elections.
The Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2022, passed by the National Assembly, forwarded for presidential assent via a letter dated 31st January 2022.
A coalition of advocacy groups that have contributed to enhancing Nigeria's electoral environment is the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room.
Situation Room notes with profound sadness.
The Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room is a coalition of civil society organizations in Nigeria that focuses on election observation, monitoring and advocacy. This platform was established to provide an organized and coordinated response to election-related issues and developments in Nigeria. The Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room has played and continues to play a significant role in promoting transparent, credible and accountable electoral process in the country. One key aspect of its work focuses on advocacy for electoral reforms.
Situation Room strongly condemns the killings and acts of election violence and urges authorities to stem further violence.
The Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room has been instrumental in improving integrity of Nigeria's electoral processes and promoting the importance of free and fair elections in the country. Its advocacy for electoral reforms and improvement is based solely on its findings and recommendations from election observation exercises. The Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room collaborates with government agencies, political parties, security agencies and international organizations to ensure that elections are conducted in a transparent and accountable manner.
The smart card reader must be compulsorily utilized in the elections, and in the absence of the use, 0 votes must be recorded.
Civil society groups, which ACE is part of, from the year 2006 to today, have done a lot of work. And when you want to talk about ACE and the leadership, so the leadership comes from those who struggle for democracy, like PLAC, who understand the issues, who know the pains that we went through under military rule. And when military rule departed, so they now saw that there's no need to be going to protest or that. What we need is to engage the reform of NEGU framework for INEC, for how government does its business.
The involvement of CSOs in the journey of the Electoral Act has been crucial in pushing for electoral reforms, enhancing transparency, and ensuring that elections in Nigeria are conducted in a credible and accountable manner. Their efforts serve as a check on the government and electoral authorities, helping to safeguard the democratic process and protect the civic rights of Nigerian citizens.